Good morning, students. Today we will see the test cross, which is a part of monohybrid test cross. It is a cross between an organism showing dominant phenotype and whose genotype is to be determined. You don't know the genotype of the organism, but the organism shows the dominant phenotypic character. When it is like that and you want to find out the genotype of such organism, it is crossed with recessive parent. The progeny is analyzed to predict the genotype of the test organism. For example, violet color flower W is dominant over white color flower small w. In this case, you can see that this is homozygous recessive white colored flower. Its genotype is both small w. Homozygous recessive this. Now, this is the flower which is violet color flower whose genotype is unknown. But as it shows the dominant characteristic, that is violet color, this is crossed with the homozygous recessive. The gametes formed by these are shown here. The homozygous recessive will form the gametes which will be of the same type, that is small w, and this, if it is homozygous, then it will produce both same, that is capital W. And 4 different combinations we get. One is capital W, small w, this combination. Then this and this gamete will again give heterozygous, that is one capital, one small. The third and the fourth all are having heterozygous combinations, but as the dominant W gene is present, all the flowers show violet color. So, when all the flowers in F1 generation are violet, you can say that the unknown flower is homozygous dominant. This flower will be homozygous dominant when in F1 progeny you get all 4 plants or all the flowers violet in color. Let us see the another case. This violet colored flower, suppose it is heterozygous, then the case will be, it will produce 2 different types of gametes. One will be of capital W type and the other will be of small w type. And when it is crossed with the homozygous recessive parent, the 2 combinations will be capital W and small w, and these 2 will show violet color, whereas the remaining 2 will have both recessive genes and hence they will show white color. So, half out of 4, 2 are showing violet color and 2 are showing white color. So, in such result, when half the flowers are violet and half of them are white, then the flower whose genotype is unknown, this flower must be heterozygous. That means it must have one capital violet color and one small w, that is for white color. So depending on the color of the flowers in F1 generation, the interpretation can be given, and based on this interpretation we can understand whether the dominant phenotype showing flower what will be its genotype. If all the flowers in the test cross show the violet color, then the organism whose or the plant whose genotype is to be understood, it must be homozygous dominant. And if 50% are violet and 50% are white, then the unknown flower is heterozygous. So this way the test cross is useful to find out the genotype of unknown genotype in which the dominant phenotype is shown. Another example or the laws of inheritance are like law of dominance. In this, characters are governed by factors which are in pairs. We have seen that the genes they occur or the factors they are present in pairs. In a dissimilar pair of factors, one allele dominates the other. The dominating one is called dominant factor and the other is called recessive factor. In the first monohybrid cross, we have seen that capital T is dominant whereas the small t is recessive. Law of segregation. It is based on the fact that the alleles do not show any blending in a hybrid. In F1 generation, there was no mixing of the characteristic. Either the plant was tall or short. So, though the parent contains two alleles during gamete formation, only one allele enters in each gamete. Thus, alleles segregate during gamete formation. So, when the gametes are formed by meiosis process, that time the alleles separate from each other and only one allele enters in each gamete. So, as the alleles separate, this is called as law of segregation. Homozygous parent produces all gametes that are similar because it has both gametes of same type. For example, tall plant will have homozygous tall plant will have both capital T. So, all the gametes will have capital T allele in it. While heterozygous parent produces two kinds of gametes, each having one allele with equal proportion. So, 50% will have the recessive gene or allele and 50% gametes will have the dominant allele. When the heterozygous parent produces the gametes. Now, we have seen the law of dominance, but it was seen that this law of dominance always not seen in the nature. In certain examples, in certain plants, the inheritance or the incomplete dominance is seen. One such example is inheritance of flower color in snapdragon. In the plant snapdragon, which is also called as dog flower. Here, the cross is done between true breeding red flowered plant and true breeding white flowered plant. Here you can see the parental generation, true breeding red flowered plant which is shown by both capital R genotype and white flowered will be shown by both small r. This will be recessive. This is P, parental generation. The process of meiosis and gametes are formed. Both will form similar kind of gametes and they will enter into different. Here it will form R type of gametes, small r. This will produce capital R type of gametes. When the cross fertilization is done, in F1 generation, the flowers are pink flowers. And these flowers have the genotype one capital R and one small r. In Mendelian characteristics, in monohybrid ratio, here we have seen that in F1 generation, all plants were tall. None of the plant was of medium height. This was because the gene for tallness was completely dominant over the gene for dwarfness. But here, why we are getting the pink flowered plants in F1 generation? This is because here capital R gene is not completely dominant over small r gene, which is for white color. And because of that, both the alleles are expressed and we get pink colored flowers, and the genotype of these flowers is RR. Now, when this F1 generation flowers or plants were self-pollinated, we get F2 generation. Now, in F2 generation, we get 4 different types of plants. The male plant will produce 2 types of pollen grains, that is capital R, and some pollen grains, 50% pollen grains will have small r. The female gametes, they also are of 2 types, capital R and small r, and the combination of these will give one red colored flower, 2 pink flowered plant and 1 white colored flowered plant. So here in F2 generation, we are getting the ratio 1:2:1, not 3:1 as we have got in the first monohybrid cross where we have studied tallness and dwarfness. So in that case, in F2 generation, we have got 3 tall plants and 1 dwarf plant. So here the phenotypic ratio changes. It does not remain 3:1 as it was shown in earlier Mendelian monohybrid cross. That was because in Mendelian monohybrid cross, gene for tallness is completely dominant over the gene for dwarfness. But here the red colored gene and the white colored flower gene both are expressed in F1 generation. No one is dominant. So this is called as incomplete dominance. So the difference in complete dominance and in incomplete dominance is that here in F1 generation, we see the blending of the characteristics, and the F1 generation organisms are not exactly similar to the homozygous dominant one. And secondly, the F2 generation phenotypic ratio is not 3:1, but the phenotypic ratio is 1:2:1, same as the genotypic ratio also 1:2:1. So in incomplete dominance, phenotypic and genotypic ratio is the same, 1:2:1. So this is about incomplete dominance. Let us see one more example of incomplete dominance. Consider that a gene controls production of an enzyme. A normal allele produces normal enzyme, and that enzyme transforms substrate S into product. We know that when the enzyme acts on the substrate gets converted into the product. But if the allele is modified, there are three different chances or cases. The first one may be the allele is modified in such a way that it produces less efficient enzyme, or it may be modified in a way where a non-functional enzyme is produced, or no enzyme is produced at all by the allele. If these three cases we consider, in first case, though the allele is modified, we are saying that it produces less efficient enzyme. So, the product will be formed but not in much amount. So, it is equivalent to normal allele because it is producing the enzyme. So, it will convert substrate S into product. Here, phenotype will not change because the allele is modified, but then too it is producing enzyme. So, phenotype will remain the same. Now, if you consider the second and third case, in that a non-functional enzyme is produced. Non-functional means this enzyme will not be able to convert substrate into product. And in third case, the enzyme is not at all produced. So both these cases, second and third case, where non-functional and no enzyme is produced, the phenotype will be affected, because here no product will be formed. That means the phenotype will be affected. Normal allele, that is, which is not modified, it represents dominant gene, and the modified one here represents the recessive. So this is the another example related to incomplete dominance. In next video, we will see the another type that is called as codominance, and then we will see dihybrid cross. Thank you.